Why is making friends so hard? This video is about how Harry Potter shows you that shared values are what builds true friendship. And more importantly, why you need to stop trying to fit in and become a man that attracts real friendship. C.S. Lewis said it best. Real friendship happens when you're chasing something bigger than just hanging out. Let me explain. Have you ever moved to a new town or started a new job and found yourself feeling just isolated and lonely? Put more simply, have you ever suffered a shortage of friends? Think about it. The best friends in our lives are so often the kid next to us in class who was the victim of the same bully. Like, you'll have these moments where you laugh together and you realize there's someone else in the room who sees things the way you see them. Lewis says that friendship is born when another person says, "You too?" A great example of this idea in action can be seen in the Harry Potter series. The friendship between Harry, Ron, and Hermione, it's a central theme throughout the book. At the beginning of the series, the three characters are drawn together by chance on the train to Hogwarts, but the bond deepens when Harry and Ron help save Hermione from the troll loose in the school at the end of the movie. But I want you to really reflect on this moment. Early on in the Philosopher's Stone, Harry very quickly chooses Ron as a friend over the likes of Draco Malfoy. Now, Harry can sense Draco's arrogance and cruelty from his time being raised by a wicked aunt and uncle, the Dursleys. He may not realize it, but Harry makes a significant decision when he chooses Ron as his friend. Because when Harry and Ron meet on the Hogwarts Express, they immediately bond over this shared sense of excitement about attending the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry.
I'm Ron, by the way. Ron Weasley. I'm Harry Potter.
Meanwhile, Draco is introduced as this spoiled, entitled pureblood who looks down on Ron and dismisses him as the wrong sort due to his family's lack of wealth. Now, this scene not only shows Draco's snobbish attitude, but it also highlights Harry's ability to look beyond the superficial. By choosing Ron as his friend, Harry is rejecting, in a sense, the wizarding world's social hierarchies. And character matters more than being on the in crowd, whatever that means.
I can help you there. I think I can tell the wrong sort for myself, thanks.
And the scene also foreshadows the rivalry between Harry and Draco, as well as the overall tensions between the Gryffindor and Slytherin house, which play out throughout the course of the series. Now, back to C.S. Lewis. He's, of course, the author of the beloved Narnia books, but he has this book called The Four Loves. It's really good, and it's dedicated to explaining how important friendship is and how you can grow your inner circle. He said, quote, "That is why those pathetic people who simply want friends can never make any." See, the very condition of wanting friends is that we should want something else besides friend. So what Lewis is saying here is that we should focus on our mission and our values first. In pursuing something meaningful, friends will naturally present themselves as fellow travelers who see the same truth that you do. Think of it, the houses of Hogwarts are interesting because obviously the school wants to foster some form of camaraderie amongst the wizards, but by sorting students into houses based on their personality type and their values, it kind of leaves the houses bound to have some kind of conflict and some kind of cliques. But true friendship has to be discriminatory. To say, "These are my friends," implies those are not. Now, of course, you've probably heard it said a million times, parents and mentors, that you are who you hang out with. And for better or worse, most of us do learn that as adults. Friendship kind of does help withdraw people from more, I'd say, collective togetherness, and often into those smaller groups of 2 to 3. And this makes friendship, in a way, a threat to more collectivist, authoritarian ideologies, and those who would prefer that all are companions, as C.S. Lewis says, but none are friends. And this is where J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter communicates this idea perfectly. And it's in the virtuous rebellion of Harry, Ron, and Hermione throughout the whole series. Because Dumbledore saw the value in this spirit because he knew the dark authoritarian times that were coming, and that the herd mentality is exactly what they need a little bit less of in order to defeat Voldemort and his movement. Because think about it, we're going to jump forward a little bit to Order of the Phoenix, which, by the way, I think Phoenix has to be my second favorite Harry Potter book, behind Prisoner of Azkaban. But this is the strange thing about me, is that I jumped on the Harry Potter train very late in life. Like, I saw the films growing up once or twice, not even really when they came out in theaters, but it was like 2 years ago was the first time I ever actually went through and read the Harry Potter books as like a 32-year-old guy. And it was a very different experience as someone who didn't grow up reading them. And it really, like, I'm weirdly glad that I did, because it gave me that much more of an appreciation for J.K. Rowling's writing, and particularly how the theme of friendship really informs the story. And really becomes the cornerstone of the forces of good that defeat the forces of evil. Very refreshing story, and I think is only more so now in an age where we're more and more isolated and more polarized politically and socially. This theme of friendship, of bonds over common value, over common purpose, is so freaking important. But I digress. Back to the main point. I want to get back to Order of the Phoenix because, as we recall, life at Hogwarts, it takes this dark turn with the arrival of Professor Umbridge, who imposes these strict rules and harsh punishments on the students. You guys remember, I'm sure, that's the blood quill punishment and the Muggle-born registration and the banning the defense against the dark arts, and worst of all, the greatest crime, humiliating Professor Trelawney. How dare you, Professor Umbridge? What a I'm just saying. Hot takes, I know. Don't like Professor Umbridge. Really bold statement there. But yes, of course, no surprise. She is secretly connected to the Death Eaters, which is the group of wizards and witches that are sworn to serve Voldemort and carry out his dastardly evil plans. Shocker. Instead of breaking apart, Harry and his friends pull closer together to save Hogwarts and protect the most vulnerable in the school. And that's part of what underpins Ron, Harry, and Hermione's evolving friendship throughout the book. Because as the kids form Dumbledore's army, as they call it, Harry is able to pass on his knowledge of self-defense against the dark arts to all the other students who are, by the way, also willing to stand up to Professor Umbridge. Again, it's that common purpose, that common theme. Because we can only protect and advance our own values if we actually stand up for them. These bonds are a natural consequence of choosing a life of purpose. Because as the great poet Lin-Manuel Miranda so eloquently put it, if you stand for nothing, Burr, what'll you fall for? I had to get the Hamilton reference in. Man, this video is all over the C.S. Lewis, Hamilton, J.K. Rowling, but this is what we do at Geeky Stoic. But and there is also a cautionary tale to this, because rest assured, not so good people will also find their own kindred spirits. As they say, birds of a feather do flock together, including the bad ones. For villains, this is why their quote-unquote friendships are so frail, and they present more like alliances. C.S. Lewis begins his analysis of friendship by pointing out its lack of necessity in the first place. Like, we don't need friendship to survive. We don't need it to reproduce. It's not a biological instinct. Bad guys are always Darwinian in nature. They're always cutthroat. They view people as tools to throw them away when they're no longer useful. Like, a friend is an ally, but an ally is not always a friend. Think of Voldemort. He kills Severus Snape because he believes that it will make him the true master of the Elder Wand. In the Goblet of Fire, Voldemort mutilates his own father, that's his own follower, Peter Pettigrew, Wormtail, by giving him the gift of the Silver Hand. Oof. He also just freely uses the resources of his followers, the Death Eaters, like the Malfoys. He cares nothing for any of their safety. So friendship is, of course, something different. It's not strategic, it's generous. It's not proud, it's humble, it's kind. Friendship, as one of those C.S. Lewis's four loves, is both sacrificial and it expresses a form of gratitude. A friend sees that their friends, are splendid and counts himself as lucky to be among them. So, if you're a friend, go be a friend. And if you're in search of friends, well, like and subscribe to this. No, I'm kidding. No. If you're in search of friends, show the world what you're about. Stand for what you believe in, and someone in God's good time will notice. Until next time, may the Force be with you.
I've been thinking about something Dumbledore said to me.
What's that?
That even though we've got a fight ahead of us, we've got one thing that Voldemort doesn't have.
Yeah?
Something worth fighting for.